What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Almost Functional 40K. Here again with another Council of the Fang with Aiden. How you doing tonight, Aiden?
I'm doing good. I'm went to an RT this weekend. I played three of the best armies. I'm excited to talk wolves, and I'm doing great. How you
Yep, yeah,
doing?
I'm doing good. Yep, I also got an event in this weekend, so we'll have a lot to talk about.
Great.
Got anything else you want to talk about first, or you want to jump right into it?
No, no. Yeah, I had a great RTT. Still paying some stuff up. Um, got some big events coming up early April. But yeah, this RTT was kind of like practice, and I
Yep.
was seeing. I really just wanted to get some good games in. So yeah, we can hop right into it.
All right. Well, let's see here. You were at your hobby place up there in Fredericksburg.
Yeah.
So run us through your list and tell us what's different from what, if anything, from what you've been doing.
Yeah. So Stormlands, I always love it. The Wolves are really
Yep.
reliable. They do great stuff. They do really unique stuff. Um, I like the fact that you can put pressure on your opponent's army really quick. I like that you're really durable to shooting. You have some agency in your opponent's turns. A lot of tricks with all that stuff. And I just like mounted units. They're just cool. So it's pretty similar. I took out a lot of the shooting platforms I've had on my list recently. I had Inceptors, I
Mhm.
had Lancer, I had a Vindicator. And I went for more melee focused with some decent shooting. I'm kind of leaning into Stern Guard as a melee and shooting piece, and
Mhm.
they surprise me. They've continued to surprise me. They're popping vehicles left and right. Um, but yeah, we'll get into it. So we'll start from the top. Captain going into a squad of 5 Stern Guard, going to ride an Impulsor. They shoot pretty damn hard because they get rerolls to wound. They've got dev wounds.
Yep.
Captain gets rerolls to wound. In melee, he's got dev wounds. Librarian, same thing, 5 Stern Guard and Impulsor. They can shoot at the top, or they can advance and drop and shoot. They can react and move back in. They're a
And
shooting piece. Librarian gets his rerolls. Yeah.
he gives them an invul, right?
Gives them an invuln and a field of pain against psychic. But invuln's pretty solid.
Yep.
They're almost like a Ulrich squad because he gets rerolls to hit and wound against the oath target. Lieutenant with combi weapon. This guy was an absolute hero this weekend. Scored me so many points against Marines and against Mordaka. Yep, solid. Logan on Storm Rider, love that guy. Amazing. Ragnar is great, man. I think he reaches the damage threshold that you need in Stormlands. So he's going to join a squad of 5 intercessors, and they actually sticky the home. I screen with Fenrisian Wolves, and he runs up the board. And they shoot pretty decent. They hit pretty decent. They got a bunch of OC. Pretty solid unit.
Sorry. Sorry, I don't know if it was just me or if everyone else. I lost you right as you were starting to talk about Ragnar.
Yeah, Ragnar, everyone loves him. He's just an amazing piece. Even
Yep.
though he doesn't add any special rules, he just hits so hard. He's going with intercessors, just regular intercessors. They sticky the home, and then I screen with Fenrisian Wolves. So I have a 30-point backfield holder, which is really fantastic.
Oh, absolutely.
And he can run and jump into Impulsor and advance and charge out of it. So here's this thing with the Thunderwolves. I'm switching at the configuration, and normally I ran 6-6-3 or 6-3-3, all with battle leaders and Logan. I'm switching up to I still have 3 squads, 6-6-3. Now I'm switching to 2 battle leaders and a Wolf Lord. So I'm cutting the battle leader out of Logan's squad because I find that he's usually the sweeper. He comes in at late game. He pops his ability whenever he needs to. He's kind of guarding my home and my expansion. Pops his ability whenever he needs to, and he comes in late game, and that's kind of when my opponents has already exhausted a lot of resources trying to kill my other squads. So I find that he really doesn't need the battle leader in his squad, and also a 5-man switches the 3 Thunderwolves and two characters. I really find that most of the time my opponent can find a way to kill 3 Thunderwolves in one shooting activation. Either they throw a grenade and then they shoot and kill 2. And then that battle leader's blood surge really doesn't matter. So I really want these blood surge on the 6-mans. I find that the 3-mans, the blood surge isn't really worth it. So it's cutting extra points. I had a Wolf Lord in there. Wolf Lord's great. He comes in from reserve on turn 1. He gives a free CP, which is great for early. List Army is really good at pressing. He gives a really good CP economy and lets me rapid ingress quickly on the first turn for free. And he has +1 advance and charge. So it means I can even just try for a first turn charge with an 8-inch rollable for a free strat. Yeah.
So basically, you run Logan with a 3-man, a Wolf Lord and Battle Leader with a 6-man, and then a 6-man with just a Battle Leader.
Yes, exactly. And that's
All
just going to be my holding my expansion, just dueling in the middle, grueling it out.
right.
I don't expect them to kill a whole lot, but yeah.
All right.
Intercessor for Ragnar to stick you to home. 2 impulsors. I actually really like the impulsors and Stern Guard combo. Let me tell. I've been fiddling around with a 10-man Stern Guard, and I find that they do really good shooting, but then my opponent can focus them. But the thing about the impulsor is it gives the Stern Guard a lot of agency. If they don't need their full firepower, I can just shoot them at the top and then like stick the impulsor close to the wall. So impulsor just pokes out and picks off, a 10-man guard squad. I don't need to jump the Stern Guard out to shoot them. The impulsor dies, but they pop out behind the wall. Or I can plink a couple wounds because dev wounds from their shooting out the back off of a Land Raider, and the Land Raider can just only kill the impulsor. Or I can stick the impulsor behind the wall, then go out and charge something, and then I can react to move back into the impulsor. It just is opens up a lot of combos with the shooting units. The impulsor can then advance, they can drop out, they can shoot, then the impulsor can charge and tank shock or tie stuff up. Transports, I've really not run a lot of transports, but I really like these guys.
I always forget you can shoot out of an impulsor.
Yeah, normally it's like, okay, I'm shooting assault intercessors. They have 1 plasma pistol.
Yeah.
Like, who cares?
Yeah, normally I have like Blade Guard or I don't even the couple games where I play tested Stern Guard in the impulsor, I forgot they could shoot out the top. And I believe you can advance and still get out of an impulsor and shoot. You just can't.
Exactly.
Charge.
So you can get good angles. With Librarian Squad, you can throw it up, drop out, and then the impulsor can still charge something else. Or
the guys don't count as advancing when you do it, I believe. So
yes.
You could advance it up, jump them out, and they can do an action somewhere that normally you wouldn't be able to get something to.
Exactly. They can in action. They can throw a grenade. It's a really solid unit. And it's got an invuln, and this army really likes invulns because it already has a lot of stuff with invulns. It's really durable. It's fast. It's like it's one of the best like action monkeys as well.
Oh yeah. I've always loved impulsors.
And again, go ahead.
No, say after my next round of events, I think I'm going to drop the Canis Rex and put some more just pure wolf tech back in.
Yeah,
I'll be running some impulsors.
I cannot understate. I want to get better at doing this, but the best way to play Warhammer is when you're not trading pieces. You're just strictly gaining. You send your squad in, they kill something, and they don't die in return. And that's going to if you do that 1 or 2 turns in a row, you are going to just totally win the game. And Absolutely. One of the ways I do that with the Thunderwolves is they have the reactive move and blood surge. So they can stay alive and then keep trading. But another way you can do that is with reactive moves back into transports. So I found, transports are really key.
All right, so you still got the Fenrisians we talked about. You have them guard your backfield after the intercessor sticky it.
Yep.
1 Lancer.
Yep, just to keep people honest.
Yep. The 2 Stern Guard, which you've talked about already.
Yep.
And then the Thunderwolves, and that's it.
Yeah.
Right. So pretty solid list. You got a lot. You still got 2 big wolf squads, but you also have a lot of pieces.
Yeah, I have some shooting. I've got the Lancer for long range. I've got the Stern Guard for short range, taking out tough targets. I've got a good number of melee threats that can go advance and charge out of
absolutely
out of transports. Yeah, it feels pretty well rounded. And I played 3 of the best attachments in the game, and I felt like I had a game into all of them. So I was happy about that.
Speaking of which, let's just jump in here and look at your round 1 was into more DACA.
Justin Roscoe, fantastic player. Mordaka is not okay. I won this game by a single point. But anything that I put out, even with -1 hidden wound, it did not matter. It just died.
Yeah.
Wow. I had lone ops. Thankfully, I had stuff behind the wall. Thankfully, I went second. Holy moly, this detachment is just not okay. And my opponent could have easily won. I think halfway through the game, he saw how unfun the game was, and he just he kind of just gave up playing and doing missions and doing actions because he was like, "Oh, I'm not having fun. My opponent's not having fun. This is dumb. I don't want to play this."
All right, so you see he's got Gaz, Zodgrod, which is a must-take almost in this. Big Mech with shock attack gun, Big Mech with shock attack. So 3 Big Mechs with shock attack guns, targeting squigs, gobshot thunderboss. Um, 11 Gretchen, or 11, 10 Gretchen, but 11 man Gretchen squad, 22 Gretchen squad. That's Zodgrod squad. 1, 2, 3 Ludas, probably running with the Big Macs. 6 Mega Knobs, 1, 2 squads of 5 Storm Boys, Tank Busters, Tank Busters, Tank Busters. And then 1, 2, 3, 4 trucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, other than the Mega Knobs and Gaz, this looks like a pretty standard Mordaka.
Yeah, he could have definitely taken even more DACA. And
Yeah.
this amount of DACA was impressive. I've got that strat for -1 hidden wound on Thunderwolves. And normally I can stand up to a good amount of shooting. Like it'll take the armies 2 turns to chew through a Thunderwolf squad.
Yeah.
This is like he shoots half of his army at one Thunderwolf squad, even through the -1 hidden wound, and kills all of it. It was so bad.
Well, some of his stuff already hits on 6s, so against some of the stuff, the -1 isn't even really helping.
Doesn't matter at all, you know?
Yeah.
So
they have so many shots with the sustained, and they already hit bad that they're probably one of the armies that cares the least about the -1 to hit.
Exactly. So, yeah, I will say I just did not expect to win this game, but I was playing very cagey. I didn't want to put anything out that because I knew everything that was going to go out was going to die. I even sent a big 8-man. It was a 6-man Thunderwolf squad to go charge onto my expansion. Zodgrod's unit was there. Thankfully, killed Zodgrod's unit. That's awesome. But holy moly. I was expecting maybe I can react to move and blood surge into something and stay alive.
You almost got to precision him out of there.
Yeah, well, thankfully Thunderwolves are like a big 8-man. It has enough attacks to chew through that unit. And I already have Lance, and he was on my Lieutenant Combi Weapon expansion, so I was wounding on 2s, rolling 1s. So it just chewed through that unit. Sometimes like the big Necron Warrior Blob or Zodgrod's unit or like other 10-man Marines with a 4-up invuln, people are like, oh, you can't chew through them. But I'm like, Thunderwolves can absolutely chew through them. When you put like
Thunderwolves, you have the attacks to kill big stuff and little stuff. Like
you have like
not much they can't get through.
Exactly. You have like 50 plus multi-damage attacks that get lethals and +1 wound and reroll hits. So it's like you're gonna push through some stuff.
Absolutely.
But he just chewed through everything I put out. I was able to deny him primary most turns, and he forgot about doing secondaries. And then I had a unit and a half left and won the game. Yeah. Lieutenant with combi weapon scored me like 25 points because he couldn't shoot him.
Yeah.
But yeah, wow. That detachment's not okay. I have no idea how I pulled that out.
And then round 2, your only loss, you played into Mark Hurdle, who we had on the show recently talking about Marines and Wolves. What was he running?
He was running his Ultramarines. His Ultramarines Gladius, he's kind of running a non-standard with a double Redeemer and Desolation Marines, Calgar, Gilliman, Assault Intercessors, Regular Intercessors, Stouts. He has, Desolations in an Impulsor, and he has 10 Stern Guard Librarian.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of CP. You can't get close to it. Overwatch too hard. It has really good shooting. Has really good melee. It's really durable because he has unlimited CP for smoke and AOC everywhere. The Stern Guard shoot hard. Yeah, really hard to approach army. He's not lost a game since LVO at tournaments. So I checked. I think in the last month, he hasn't lost a game he hasn't won a game by less than 20 or 30 points. So every game he's just been a blowout.
Yep, and he talked about that list a little bit here on the channel, so feel free to go back and look at that. I think that was like 2 weeks ago.
Yep.
All right, so played into the crazy Ultramarines. That's and with one of the better players around anywhere, so that's a tough one.
Yeah, I was happy with how my list performed. I had a game into him. He went first, and he was able to just push onto all the midfield objectives. He was trying to contest my expansion most of the time. I did have a game into him, and there were a couple key points in turn 3 that went his way. He made a 9-inch charge for Gilliman to come contest my expansion. If Gilliman didn't, he would have been sitting out in the open. I would have killed both of his lives. Then I failed to kill Gilliman on my charge. He precisioned out Logan. Regardless, I had a game into him, and I was really happy about that. 71-95 was the final score, even though he went first, which is his ideal scenario. And I think I look back, that's the closest anyone's ever brought a game to him in the past couple of months in a tournament. So I was like, yeah, I felt like I had a chance, which was
absolutely. Really that's all you want is a chance.
Yeah.
All right. In round 3, you played into the dreaded Ynnari.
Ynnari, man, can you devise a more difficult tournament run?
Yeah.
Mordaka, Ultramarines Gladius with Gilliman, and Ynnari.
Yep. So we got Altot, Artark, Visark, Incarn, Yvrain, 10 Storm Guardians, Wave Serpent, 2 5-man Fire Dragons, 2 5-man Banshees, Rangers, Scorpions, Spider, Wind Rider, Wraith Lord, Incubi. All right, so the Wraith Lord's probably a little bit of a pain. Spiders and Banshees, in my experience, kind of bounce a little bit off Thunderwolves.
Correct.
Dragons could be scary. Guardians are just Guardians. So other than the Fire Dragons and the Incarn, was there much that gave you a problem in this list?
So Fire Dragons I don't actually care about. They do not get any rerolls into Thunderwolves. They don't get any rerolls into infantry. They don't like the -1 hidden wound. I really didn't care about Fire Dragons. The one thing that gave me pause was his fight first Incubi unit that was rerolling hits and wounds. That will pick up most of, if not all, of Thunderbolt squad in one go.
So the Incubi were a lot of his stuff does. As soon as you do a wound to something or kill one model, they all have fight first.
And so you need to shoot it, which means that the problem is you shoot it, it runs away or runs into combat, then fights first, or you shoot it and something else moves. It just is like a really hard unit to approach.
Yeah, because they have all their normal movement stuff. Plus, at the end of the shooting phase, if you've killed a unit, they can move one of their units a full move.
Yeah. So how would you approach playing?
And the Incarn warps around, right?
Yes. Incarn warps around when you kill something in any phase.
It's such a difficult. Can she only do it once a turn now, or can she do it multiple times?
It's once a turn in your opponent's turn. Yeah. Whenever something of yours dies, you can teleport the Incarn.
Yeah. I'm finding I haven't actually still have dodged the Ynnari. I've played into almost everything. I was like, we'll get into it. I played against Wind Rider host this weekend. Swarms of bikes. But I find with most of the Eldar, you kind of just put as much pressure on as possible because there's not much that can dig through 2 wolf squads. And then just, honestly, in this matchup, you almost don't even use some of your shooting because you don't want to be killing stuff so you can charge it.
Exactly. I did not shoot a single gun until turn 3. And that's exactly what I did. So I think the way to play in Ynnari, you cannot play cagey. They will win that cagey game 10 times out of 10. You cannot give them space to get onto primary, to set up in staging. You cannot give them space to do all their tricks. You cannot shoot. You just send everything early as possible. And normally that's kind of bad because these Banshee units will pick up infantry left and right. You can't send assault intercessors. You can't send captain squads. Thankfully, my army is very well designed to run into their army, into Ynnari. Howling Banshees, they'll pick up 1 or 2 wolves, and that's it. And then the wolves will eat the whole Howling Banshee squad. The only thing that I'm scared of is the Incubi bricks. So I went first. I went for the first turn, top of 1 charge onto his expansion, away from the Incubi. It worked. I went with an 8-inch removable, and then everything set up a stage, and I was just full sending every turn. And I didn't let him score any turns of primary. I didn't let him set up. And then finally, when the Incubi exposed on turn 3, they killed a wolf squad. But everything went to jump and shoot them and throw a grenade, and I killed them all. And then from there, I was just kind of cleaning up. I was ahead on primary. I was up on material because he had a hard time shooting through wolf squads. That's what you have to do. Just full.
Because I find, with wolves, they just don't have the profiles to kill Thunderwolves. You just bully the middle, start running away with primary, and even if they do eventually dig through the wolves, it's usually too late.
Exactly. The Incarn teleported near his expansion on, I think it was bottom of 1 or bottom of 2, and I full sent into into her with the second wolf squad. And yeah, I was just killing as much as I could, and then I drew out the incubi squad, and then I shot every gun in my army on that turn. You don't shoot anything, and then when stuff is exposed, you shoot everything. You shoot everything in one phase because only one thing can move.
Yeah, because they don't know how to deal with you not shooting at them early in the game because they don't get all their tricks.
Exactly, and I do want to shoot, but you can't shoot one squad a turn. You have to either shoot everything and kill a lot, or shoot nothing and kill nothing.
Well, especially in this, because you set up a charge, shoot something. Well, now you can't charge, and your charge is going to do more than that one Stern Guard squad or one Lancer shot. Like,
you can't chip them. You can't chip them. Yep. So wow, won a tournament run. I had a blast. I learned a lot. I had a game into all three of these armies, and I was really happy about that.
Cool. So speaking of your list, anything you're considering changing in it, or you're happy with it now? Going to keep testing it a little longer like this?
I really like the Stern Guard and the Impulsors. The Lancer, I don't even know that I need it. It was okay.
Then as soon as you drop them, you're going to need them.
Exactly. It was okay. I mean, it did not much of anything the whole tournament. It's okay shooting. It makes people be honest with their
it gives you some long range.
Yeah, they can't just sit out in the open with their big tanks. But I think it might be better served as another melee unit because I have some shooting to clear screens from the Impulsors and the Stern Guard. So other than that, I was really happy with it,
Cool.
Yeah. So, you went to an RTT this weekend. How did that go?
So I'll go through my list real quick. So still running Canis, double wolves. I did run the Captain and Phobos armor. I was trying that out.
Ooh, okay.
Still Herald, Battle Leader with Black Death in a 6-man. Battle Leader, Wolflord in a 6-man. That's still the same.
Pretty standard,
Two Ballistists, 5 Fenrisian Wolves, 1 Infiltrator squad, 1 Outrider squad, 2 Scout squads, and then the 2 big Thunderwolves and Canis.
Okay, yeah, pretty standard. You got the 3 big bricks. You have a couple smaller units to skirmish and fight.
So what I was doing, and the Phobos captain lets me redeploy 3 infantry units. So I was just throwing both Scout squads and Infiltrators up in the middle.
Okay.
And then redeploying. I tried the first game, sticking the captain with the Infiltrators to do that cheeky little trick I was talking about where he can do whatever the Space Wolf strat is in Champions of Rust that lets you get +1 AP in the fight phase because you don't have to be engaged to do it. And then with his free CP and then trying to steal a CP with the... but I only got 2 chances to try and it didn't work either time. And I was like, you know what? The other 2 games, I just used him on his own as just another...
Scoring mission
piece. Screening, action piece, yeah. So it's an interesting little idea, but with a Wolflord on Thunderwolf, he's using the free CP most of the time. So you got once or twice a game. You might be able to try it and need a 5, so you're not even guaranteed to get it in a game. So it's better off just instead of having 170 points hiding back, just have him out doing something.
Right, makes sense. Who'd you play?
So my first game I played into was Blood Angels, Liberator Assault Group.
Ooh, that is traditionally a tough matchup, at least for Stormlands.
Yeah, so we had Captain with Ragefield Warrior, Mephiston, Dante, Lamartes, Lieutenant with Speed of the Primarch, 1 Impulsor, 2 pet squads of JPIs, 6-man Blade Guard squad. They were running with the Lieutenant. Company Heroes, they were running in the Impulsor and shooting out of it.
Oh, fun.
Their Heavy Bolter is 2 or 3 damage, something crazy like that. It was like, I was impressed with that. Then he had a big squad of Death Company. They were running with, what was his name, Lamartes. He had 2 Lancers, 6 Sanguinary Guard that were running with Dante, and a Scout squad. And he actually used his Scout squad to hold his backfield.
Interesting.
Yeah. So this is a matchup I didn't want to have to go first in it, and I got lucky. I got to go second. So that was really, really key in this. This was... I'm trying to remember the mission. I think it was just take and hold round 1.
Right.
Take and hold on Tipping Point with raised banners. But neither of us had any battle line, so it really didn't matter.
How did you approach this matchup?
So So with having decent shooting, and him having the Lancers, I held Canis back, deployed the 3 scout squads and the infiltrators out, just kind of ate up some of his deployments to see where he was putting stuff. And then once his Lancers were down, I put Canis back safely where the Lancers couldn't get to it. He staged them on both sides of the board, kind of where I couldn't get shots on him. And so having second turn, I kind of got to be patient because I have more shooting and I was going to get bottom of turn scoring. So he had to start pushing a little first. But he was a little scared, I think, of pushing the Lancers out where the Ballistas or Canis could kill them. So he kind of didn't move them up aggressively at all. So turn 1, he jumped Dante and a bunch of stuff up to kind of try to stage it. But he jumped Dante up one of the outside edges behind one of the little squares. And so I had Canis walk up and touch the terrain in a spot where neither of the Lancers were going to be able to draw a line of sight to him next turn. And he was able to see a couple guys in Dante's squad.
Oh, wow.
And just let loose with his 4 damage gun and everything. He actually ended up killed 4 of them in shooting.
Wow.
So now Dante's squad was down to Dante and 2 guys.
Wow.
And then I actually had Canis. I pushed him out where the Lancers couldn't see him. And I had the 1 scout squad in the Fenrisian Wolves surround his base so that he couldn't be charged.
That's really cool tech. That's a great way to protect a big model.
Yeah, and I drew like secure no man's land or something turn 1. So I had my 1 scout squad spread between 2 objectives, score it, and I didn't have to really expose anything else. He came up, charged them with a squad of JPI, rolled bad, and the scout captain ended up, lieutenant, sergeant ended up living. He didn't even, because he had overwhelming force that turn.
Oh, no.
So he missed the scouts, and they charged the Fenrisian Wolves, and on his, and he charged, it was both with his JPIs. So his JPIs charged the Fenrisian Wolves, killed like 2 of them with his Hammer of Wrath. I pulled the 2 dogs right in front of them so that if he wanted to pile in to even get any overwhelming force into the dogs, he was going to get in engagement range with Canis.
Wow.
And he chose to do that to get the points because I was going to kill that squad in next tournament. So he piled in, finished off the dogs, got 1 overwhelming, and then Canis just picked them up.
Wow, sounds like you use Canis in this matchup really well. I would be afraid that the Lancers would pick him up, that he would get charged by the Sanguinary Guard.
Right. That's I got lucky. I was able to get it moved to pick up most of the Sanguinary Guard turn 1, which made me feel a lot safer. And the way the buildings were positioned, I was able to position him where the Lancers weren't going to be able to get a shot on him. And at best, he'd only get 1 Lancer because he kind of spread them apart on different sides of the board. So I was able to position Canis where he was never going to be able to expose to both Lancers at the same time.
Okay. Wow. Fantastic. Cool. I mean, yeah. Well done in this matchup.
That's probably just bad positioning and stuff on his part. But in this type of matchup, I have a little more shooting and going second. If I went first, it'd be different because then if he's smart and sits back, I have to push. Then he can choose his charges. So I find anytime in a combat on combat, if you get to go second, it's a lot of times can be really beneficial.
I like that. Yeah, good job.
Round 2, I played into Eldari, Windrider host. Eldrad, 1, 2, 3 Farseer Skyrunners. 2 of them had enhancements. I don't remember exactly what they did. Lycus, 10 Storm Guardians. He had 1, 2, 3 6-man Windriders and 2 3-mans.
Huh.
So he had 24 Windriders.
That's a lot.
And at strength 6, 2 damage, and all sorts of rerolls in this detachment. They were actually kind of scary to me.
Whoa.
And this detachment, he gets to pick up at the end of your turn. He can pick up 2 either mounted or two mounted or Viper units. So every turn he could pick up and re-deep strike 6.
Get some angles.
Yes. Then he had 1 Falcon that had the Fire Dragons in it, a squad of Shining Spears, Shroud Runners, 2 individual Vipers, then 2 Warlock Skyrunners, and a squad of Warp Spiders that ran with Lycus.
Fantastic. Well, okay. Looks like kind of a tough list. A lot of 2 damage, which could be good at Thunderwolves.
Yep. This mission was Supply Drop. And it was Hammer and Anvil. So it's the one where we had all 3 objectives straight across the middle. And the first one to go away was the middle one and then the left one. So the right objective was one that was there at the end. we both, I think, scored like a 5 on like our second turn, and then we like zeroed each other till the end, and then I was able to pull off a 15 on turn 5 and deny him because I kept one Thunderwolf squad back safe on that side, just using the other Thunderwolves, Canis, everything to try to keep primary close. He was actually beating me on secondary a little bit, but I was able to turn 5, push the Thunderwolves up on the lone remaining objective, all 8 of them, put the 2 characters in the middle and just formed a circle. And they still had their blood surge up.
Whoa.
So I had the 15. So he could sit everything far away from me and try to shoot them off, but then he can't get on it. So he had to position something close enough to be able to charge. So he has to be outside of 7 inches to not be able to be hit. So now you're relying on rolling on a 7 on the charge, but I'm going to pull those front guys first. And now you're looking. So he had to drop himself in at like 4 inches, hope he killed enough with his first activation that he could survive the blood surge and then charge everything in potling.
That's
But
what I
he didn't.
love. Yeah. I
But
mean,
he
that's
couldn't get in with a
fantastic.
blood surge. Then I piled in, and then he failed 2 of his 9-inch deep strike charges, which you can't rely on, but he had to go for it at that point. And then the Thunderwolves just picked up the Guardians in one little bike squad. That were the things that were he was able to move close enough. And
Wow.
so I was able to zero him. So I ended up winning, I think, by like 8 points, and I beat him 15-0 on primary. So I was actually down going into that turn, so I had to pull that off to win that game.
Wow. That's great.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, well played into very fast,
Yeah, if
blast.
if you can, I'd prefer to go second on that mission, but even going first, if you can keep a squad pretty much alive with the blood surge up and just swarm that objective, it's hard for people to position to be able to get around you and onto the objective to score it.
Yeah, that's what I find with Thunderwolves. They're so good at controlling primary into the right matchups. The matchups that don't have a lot of melee.
Mm-hmm.
They can just sit, and they have such big bases. They sit, and they surround the objective, and you can't shoot them because they blood surge.
Mm-hmm.
Or you just sit back and try to kill them, but then you're not getting the objective. They're fantastic at controlling space in primary.
Yeah. Although I've found the last couple events, I'm not rolling higher than like 3s on the blood surges. Like, man, like, and without the reactive move, like, I have the threat of it, but then when it goes, it hasn't been actually getting me in combat very often lately.
Matt, I'm telling you, man, there's a big difference between Thunderwolf Cavalry in Champions versus Thunderwolf Cavalry in Stormlands because you can reactive closer. There's that reactive makes people sweat so much.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I know. I miss it, but I just like the damage output. I like the Black Death. Like,
oh, yeah, man. Oh, in Herald Squad, everything is dead wounds on a 4-up.
And going into my last game, it did work in my last game.
Yeah, I wish I had that.
So last game I played into Chaos Demons, the new Shadow Legion. He had Be'lakor, Bloodthirster with Fade to Darkness. That's he can actually, at the end of the fight phase, if he started in engagement range and killed a unit and is no longer engaged, can go back into reserves.
Wow.
So on his turn, he charges you, kills like a little scout squad or something, immediately goes into reserve, and then a rapid ingresses on your turn.
Wow, that's brutal.
Yeah. 3 Great Unclean Ones, one of which had Leaping Shadows, which gives him a 9-inch scout move pre-game.
What the fuck? They're not supposed to be fast.
Yep, 9 Nurglings, 3 squads of Beast and Nurgle, 2 2-mans and a 1-man. They also have a scout. I think it's only 6 or 7, not 9.
Yeah.
A squad of Fleshhounds, which, let me tell you, they're way better than Fenrisian Wolves. And then a 10-man squad of Cultists. So, do you know what Beasts of Nurgle do?
They heal up to full at the end of any phase that they're wounded. They're really durable, like T9, T10 near a Great Unclean One.
T9, yep, T10, yep. 7 wounds. Like, mine in this. I don't think they have a field, but in this detachment, anything, Nurgle gets the buff that anything that's higher than their toughness is -1 to wound.
Wow.
So Canis at strength 20 only wounds the Great Unclean Ones on a 4.
That's terrible, man. That's so terrible.
Yep. And if they take a battle shock, they heal D3, and they have a strat to auto heal 3. So every turn, the Great Unclean Ones were getting like 5 to 6 wounds back.
Wow. So this is just a wall of meat.
Oh, yeah. I got lucky. My first turn, I shot one of the Beast and Nurgle squads and just killed one model out of it. I didn't kill another one the rest of the game. I kept getting them down to like 1 and 2 wounds, and then they'd go right back to full. And it was like,
that is crazy, man.
Yep. So Bloodthirster hit
Did
So I
I
was
cut out?
kind of
Well,
sorry.
I think I cut out a little bit. What were you saying about the Bloodthirster?
I I haven't played against demons like this in a while, so he actually hits a little harder than I realized he did. So I was kind of patient turn one. He pushed the scouting um, great unclean one up onto one of the objectives. So I sent Canis and Harold's squad into it. He also had the the 9 Nurgling bases surrounding it, near it. So I shot everything I could into the Nurgling bases, charged them and the Great Unclean One with Thunderwolves, charged Canis into the Great Unclean One. Canis did 0 damage to the Great Unclean One. Yeah.
What?
Yeah, it didn't roll great to hit, and then wounding him on 4s, and he made 2 invuls. And then
Oh,
the Thunderwolves picked up all the Nurglings, and then the Black Death Captain just whacked that guy, and with the squad, like the Thunderwolves killed it by themselves. Like I didn't even
good.
need to send Canis in. But then now Canis is out there, and the next turn he charged it with the Bloodthirster and one-shotted it. One-shotted
Really?
Canis. Yeah, and I
Whoa.
was like, oh, all right, I wasn't expecting that. So then the I was able to. Well, no, he charged the Thunderwolves too because I was going to heroic him if he didn't. Even without the charge, they managed to get him down to like 3 wounds.
The Bloodthirster?
And then, yeah. So then they fell back from him. I gave him the fallback in charge, and I tried to kill him with my shooting. I shot the scouts at him. I shot the ballistics at him. Just couldn't freaking kill the Bloodthirster. So I had to combi charge Bellicor and the Bloodthirster, and the 2 Thunderwolves I put into the Bloodthirster didn't quite kill him. Got him down to like
Oh
2 wounds.
no.
But Harold and like 1 dog and the Black Death picked up Bellicor.
Oh wow. So that's a good and a bad thing.
Oh yeah. So then the Bloodthirster kills a couple dogs back, and then on his turn heals it back to like 8 wounds.
Ugh.
And at this point, I was kind of running out of stuff. He was able to kill a bunch of dogs, and then on the next turn, I still had Harold, 1 or 2 dogs, and the Black Death up. And I was like, all right, I'm gonna fall back, pop the thing on them, charge another Great Unclean One, and probably come close to, if not killing it with them. Failed their battle shock. So not only can I not fall back without risking losing them, I can't give them the strat for fallback and charge.
Oh no. So they're
So they
sitting there.
so they just had to stay in the combat.
That's bad, man. That's really
I
bad.
did manage to finish the Bloodthirster off with my shooting that turn finally, but the Thunderwolves were fighting that Great Unclean One that charged them, and now they weren't fighting first. So we ended up killing the dog and doing a little bit of wound to Harold. But the fact that I couldn't get off, he was just on all the objectives at that point, and that was kind of where it ran away.
That's
But
brutal.
if I played it again, I'd hold Canis back, realizing how well the dogs actually by themselves just killed through that stuff until the Bloodthirster was in a position that when I pushed Canis out, I could kill him.
Right.
Because
Yeah.
the Bloodthirster gets advance and charge in this attachment because he's Khorne.
Right.
So if he pushes out, I can still wound him on 3s. So he should be the one Canis went after. Now that if I played it again, I think I do that because the dogs by themselves are doing a good job of picking up the big stuff.
Yeah, yeah. And then also sometimes when the dogs bounce, it's really bad. You know what I mean?
But Black Death with Oath, he really doesn't bounce into big stuff too easily.
Gosh, man, I wish I had that enhancement with Harold Squad. Oh my god. Mwah. It's like
and they're sustained and lethal.
Oh.
And after the first turn when I killed the first Great Unclean One, now I can give them +1 to wound.
Wow.
So yeah, once I got all that up, they were rolling through stuff. If I hadn't failed that battle shot, I should have just spent the CP to auto pass them. But I was trying to be stingy with CP for other stuff. I wouldn't have been able to give them the +1 to wound because I only had 1 CP. But I should have just made sure they passed. Then, or I had 2 CP. I was need 1 for fallback and charge, 1 for lance. But I should have just auto passed and fallback and charge and just with Oath, just hope the Black Death did enough. But
yeah, totally. Sounds like a fun run. I mean, any takeaways for your list?
Yeah, the captain with the redeploy, it's cute, but I don't think it's needed. So I think I'm going to drop him for a combi lieutenant. I think I'm going to drop the 2nd scout squad, go back to 1, and the dogs. Then I'm going to take a squad of intercessors. There's a couple other tweaks, small tweaks. I don't remember it off the top of my head. Actually,
What about the big stuff? Do you still like the big squads of
yeah, I'm
wolves?
still
And
sticking with
Canis?
Canis. The Wolf squads haven't changed. I ended up with 10 points at the end, I think. So I gave the Lord Pelt of the Beowulf, just so his squad can cause battle shocks. I mean, but that's not something needed. But for 10 points, I was like, we'll see what it does.
Might as well.
But yeah, no, the big stuff I like. I just got to learn what can and can't kill Canis super quickly, and when and where to push him. Which is the only thing I would change about anything this weekend in that last game. I think that would have changed a lot if I just held him back another turn or two and just used his shooting and kept him from getting charged, because they had no shooting that he was worried about.
Right.
I think I got too greedy. I'm like, oh, I'm going to run him with these 9 damage attacks and just kill this great unclean one, but then just completely whiffed.
4 up and wounds, man. Brutal.
Well, 4 Benvol's, and you only wound them on
4 to
4s
wound.
with Canis. Like,
Mhm.
yeah, because they're T13 -1 to wound if your toughness or strength is higher than their toughness.
Yeah. Ooh, tough, man.
Yeah. Yeah, so most of my army is wounded them on 6s, and but no, it was a good game. It's John Sweet's a really good player. This is actually a list he's testing out for teams.
A lot of big stuff.
Dude, I think this is a great skew list in teams. Like, you put this into a lot of stuff in 20 of them. You
Yeah,
swap
it's a
those great
wall
unclean
of
ones and
flesh.
Beast and Nurgle up to the middle. They
Yeah.
can't kill it. Bellicor popping the 18-inch low knot, so I couldn't really whittle any of it down until it got close to me. So even though you got the shooting, you can't shoot anything good until he decides to commit.
Oh, wow. Ugh.
Yeah. And that 9-inch scout on a great unclean one means he can get to basically any of the middle objectives he wants early with us, and all 3 Beasts of Nurgle squad scout. So unless you have a scout or something you want to throw out there to take that away, he can just come up and take the middle of the board and be like, you better kill these guys because you're not going to chip damage them. Like, oh, you did 6 wounds in the shooting and you're going to charge me? Cool. Well, now the Beast of Nurgle's fully healed. You got
Oh,
to do
terrible.
all
It's per
14 wounds in
phase,
one
too. That's
phase. Or
brutal.
yeah, that's
Brutal.
what I'm saying. It's not like, oh, every in his command phase or something weird, which would be annoying enough, full heal, but like, no, it's every phase. Oh, I charged you. I'm going to tank shock you. Cool. I'm going back to full health before you swing.
Yeah, doesn't matter. Chip damage?
Yeah,
Nope.
yeah. But no, I really liked it. Like, this is the type of list I would enjoy playing. But I think I could beat it if I played it again, just knowing how well the Black Death does on its own. I could play a little more cagey with Canis. I wasn't
Yeah,
expecting them to be able to pick him up by themselves, but they can.
right. Yeah. Big models are always kind of hard to play with, for
Yep.
me at least, because sometimes if you misplay once, you lose
Yep.
them. That sounds like the Bloodthirster was like a big issue.
Yes. Yeah, because nothing else I think auto kills him. Maybe Bellicor. I'm not sure how good Bellicor is. I know he's real buffy, but I should have just held him back till, because he was trying to hold the Bloodthirster back for Canis. So if I keep Canis back, he probably holds the Bloodthirster back, not wanting to give it up till he can get it to Canis. So I might almost be able to keep it kind of out of the game for a little while, because he
Right.
doesn't want to get it into Thunderwolf squads, because he needs
Where
to
he's
hit
not
stuff
going to
he
chew
can.
through. Mm-hmm.
Right, he needs to hit stuff he can kill so he can jump back up and not be
Mm-hmm.
sitting there stuck, where I can move all my shooting and stuff out to kill him. He needs to keep him back in Bellicor's aura until it's time for him to kill Canis.
Right. Yeah.
And once Canis died, then he felt free to push everything out of Bellicor's aura and push Bellicor to the middle.
Yeah.
So yeah, if I held Canis back, I think he plays more KG, and then I think that actually works in my favor.
Cool. Yeah. Well, it sounds like a fun weekend.
Yeah, both of us 2-1, so nothing too crazy about that. But yeah, and then we have, what's this? Army list.
Yeah, take a look at what did well. It's
Yeah, so we had Dan Bruce went 5-1 at a 70-player event.
Awesome.
And then we
Dan.
have Merzbeck Albacroft went 3-1 at a 12-person event.
Okay.
It's a small event, but it was 4 rounds, so I pulled it up.
Cool.
So this is the one that went 4-1. Beat Leagues of Votann, lost to Eldari, beat Chaos Marines Dark Angels, champions Bjorn, Logan, Ragnar, Yulrik, Battle Leader, Wolflord. Intercessors that I think were running with Ragnar. Claws were probably with Ulrich. Intercessors, Rhino for Ulrich's squad. 2 Scout squads. 2 Sky Claws.
Hmm.
1 big Thunderwolf squad that was running with the Wolf Lord and Battle Leader. 5 Terminators that I'm assuming Logan was with. And
Right.
then 10 Wolfen.
Okay.
So nothing super crazy here other than some Sky Claws, which you normally see JPIs because they're the same points, but not much. You get some, I don't know what you get here. Oh, you get some Melt the Guns instead of the Charge Mortals, but
Don't know if that's worth it,
no,
but
I don't think so, but maybe that's what he owned and he likes playing, small events, so, and he only ran 1,990 points.
uh-oh.
Oh, he took Frost Weapon and Black Death. Everybody else was named characters, so he couldn't take an
Can't
enhancement.
take any.
So, yeah, not much to do with it.
Okay. Yeah, pretty run-of-the-mill champions
Yeah.
list.
But yeah, this other one went 5-1 at a big event, so I'm a little more interested in this one.
Yeah.
The Stodes, Astrometallium Knights beat Orcs,
Ooh.
lost a guard, and then beat Space Marine. So he had to
Oh,
play
I want to see what that
Astrometallium.
work list is. Was that more DACA? Did he win into more DACA? He did. Congrats. Oh, good for
Beast
him.
Boss. So whenever I see more DACA and they're running Beast Boss and stuff,
Beast
I'm like, why are
bosses.
you wasting points?
Yeah, no, that doesn't
3
seem like
Big Macs,
optimal.
Snickrot, Zogrod, Beast Snagaboys,
Not super
5
optimal.
trucks, Gits, 20 Gretchen, 10 Gretchen, Ludas, Tank Busters, Bikers.
Still pretty good.
I mean, it's still solid, but yeah, he can clean up the Beast Snagas and Beast Bosses and get some more DACA in there, and it's probably a little more efficient, but not everybody has the models to go full more DACA since it's only been out for a couple weeks.
Totally. Yeah.
So yeah, he beat more DACA. Where does this go? So Stormlance, I know you like to see that.
Stormlance.
A battle leader with Hunter's Instinct. So Logan, Ragnar, Lieutenant with Combi Weapon, battle leader on Thunderwolf, One of them has Hunter's Instinct.
Mm-hmm.
2 Wolf Lords. So no Herald, no Logan on sled. He's got Logan on foot. Did he have Ragnar? Yep, Ragnar. All right, so he's got Assault Intercessors, probably with Ragnar. No, those are JPIs. Blade Guard. All right, so Blade Guard for Ragnar. I always like that.
Mm-hmm.
Scouts, 2 big Thunderwolf squads, both with the Lord and Battle Leader, 1 doing the reserve thing. 2 Vindicators and an Impulsor, probably for Ragnar's squad.
Yeah. Okay, this is pretty solid. You see those Vindicator lists.
Yep.
Big bricks, 2 Vindicators. You got Blade Guard for Ragnar.
Yep.
Yes, also still pretty run of the mill. Interesting. He's running Logan on foot versus on sleigh.
I've done it. You still get his buff, and he can be like an action monkey. So he gets the 2 guys that can do the free CPs, and he gets the +1 advance and charge on both.
Yeah,
I can see it, but
yeah. Vindicators pair well with the damage from Thunderwolves. It's a good.
Yep.
They shoot instead of melee. They have AP3. They get D6 damage instead of 2. They're pretty solid to balance out the Thunderwolves. Blade Guard with Ragnar in Stormlands is okay. It does okay damage. I mean, like above average damage. It doesn't do crazy.
Well, yeah, they don't get a lot of buffs other than the
Nope.
fallback in charge because Ragnar already gives them advance in charge, so they don't gain that. They already have it.
Yeah, they can't get Lance. They don't get lethals. They're a bunch of AP2. Essentially, they're just a blade of wounds for Ragnar. And Ragnar without rerolls or without Lance or without +1 AP or without lethals, he's okay. He's good,
Yeah, maybe they send them in first to kill some harder screens or to kill some screens, be like a really tough nut to crack in the middle. And anything you really commit to kill them is also stuff that would be good at wolves. So maybe you bait some stuff out that would kill Thunderwolves and then counter with wolves.
Yeah, and
or as the wolves push up, maybe they come up behind the wolves and take the middle. You're like, well, I can't shoot this at the Blade Guard. I needed to kill the wolves in my face. So I could see where that unit being hard to kill with 4-ups and can kill anything, like deep strikes in behind the wall. Like I could see it. Like it doesn't get a lot of buffs, but it's just a good unit on its own.
It's a very solid unit. Yeah, same with Vindicators. And also, I think weapons that kill Vindicators kill wolves. Yep. So it's kind of like you're kind of having target priority issues there.
Yes. Yeah, and then so I kind of like that list. That's pretty good.
Pretty solid.
And it's got 2 JPI squads. They also can run out early, kill some little screens, do some mortals, scouts to screen the middle, which is big. Yeah, overall, this is a pretty solid list.
Pretty solid list. I'm surprised he lost to Astra Militarum because I think, for the most part, Stormlands has a pretty decent matchup in Astra
Hammer of the
Militarum.
Emperor.
Though the one thing is, if you go second, you get jailed.
Dorn, Engine Seer, Ursula Creed, Torox, catch every weapon, Hellhound, Lehman Russ, 2 squads of Ratlings, another Rogel Dorn, Scout Sentinels. So depending on the layout, mission, and who went first, I have had 3 Rogel Dorns pick up most of, when I was running 18 Thunderwolves, 2 Rogel Dorns with a couple Lehman Russes on the wrong layout, pick up most of my Thunderwolves before they could even get there, even when I was running 3 full squads.
Yeah,
that is just some efficient shooting.
Yeah, Rogel Dorns are more efficient. Same with Lehman Russes, are both more efficient tanks than anything Space Marines have access to.
And they can 0 damage once a game, I think.
The big ones can. Yeah,
the Dorns can,
The commanders reroll like 1s to hit or something.
Yeah.
1 hit, 1 wound, or 1 damage or something.
Yeah.
And the Torox is with auto 6 advance plus 3 move disembark after you advance, and then you can if you throw Ratlings in there, you can then shoot and scoot 6 more inches. Can jail so hard.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
So it's got the stuff to slow you up and the stuff to kill you.
Yes.
So in the hands of a good player, this can really be a big pain. This list went 6-0.
Yep. Very solid list. Scary list. I would not want to play this.
No. I'd want to play it on like one of the super obscured layouts. If it's any kind of open layout in the middle, like that's not a good time for Wolves. Stormlands has a better chance than Champions of Rust, but even so,
it's not good. You need to go first. If you go second,
they start putting all those orders up on the tanks and stuff. It gets a
little. Well, the orders, but also they just move so fast. The auto 6 advance can get +3 move, can move through walls. They can so easily jail you.
Yep.
It's crazy.
Yeah, and when I was playing against it, they were still had that was before the Bullgren got nerfed, and they were just holding the Wolves up. You hit them with the -1 damage, like they were the perfect screen.
Perfect screen.
But even without it, they're still pretty good. Yeah. Let's see where that guard ended up. Dark Angel. So he ended up 6-0 in 3rd place. It looks like Dark Angels and Yanari. I don't know why they're on top of zeros. He might have won the event because I don't know if these are drops or why they're up here without a. But the guard looks like went 6. The only undefeated that's showing, unless they have like a shadow round weird playoff thing for these 2 or something weird. I don't know. I've never seen it done like that.
Yeah. Cool. I'm glad some Stormlands is showing up.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, me too. It's always good to see some Stormlands.
And some Wolves. Yeah, we need more Wolves winning GTs. Come on.
Absolutely. Yeah, we're on the verge. Like, if I could have dodged some Knights, I had a chance last time. But
yeah, I think it's like we have the tools to win.
Yeah.
If things
but there's
go
a few matchups that are about 50-50. Like, we can win them. But, like, if you keep hitting those during the tournament, eventually one's just you're going to go first or second when you shouldn't have, or it's on the wrong mission, or dice skew. Like, so Wolves can win an event. It's just, well, maybe not till Mordaka's fixed. I don't know how many stuff's beating that. If they're good, if the good lists and good players are showing up. But most of the time, Wolves have the ability to, just not quite as easy a path as some other armies.
Right. Yeah. So.
All right. So I see we got some people watching. Anybody got any questions or comments or anything you want us to talk about?
Any questions about your lists or units you are thinking about trying out? Because I think between me and Matt, we've played almost every unit in the book.
Yeah. Any question as to why we're so bad and we can't win these events?
We can't win any events, man. What the hell?
Yeah.
I think there are some top armies that really need to get touched right now.
Yeah, I think more DACA is the most one. Something with Knights, but I'm worried when they hit Knights, Canis is going to get hit because he's in most regular Knight lists. Chaos Knights as well. I think the Armigers need to go down to like 6 or 5 OC. That 8 OC is just kind of ridiculous.
It's a little ridiculous, yeah.
Or make it so kind of like, I think how it used to be with them, at like half wounds or something, they lose half OC. Like, because normally most units, like your battle line, you start losing guys, like half your units going, your OC is a lot less. Knights, you got to completely kill it or they're sitting there at 8 OC. Which I think
hard,
is
man.
the biggest.
Yeah.
That's the biggest problem I have with them is just if they touch 2 guys on it, you got to kill both of them off or you can't take the objective back.
Totally. Yeah. Just a bunch of OC, really durable bodies. Yeah.
Yeah, they're hard to kill. They shoot well. They don't need to have that much stupid AC on top of it. Especially now that all the big ones can shoot in action.
Yeah, yeah. Just a lot to deal with.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's super easy for them to burn and all that kind of stuff early. Just like walk up and just, you can't kill me. I'm going to stay here.
Yeah.
All right. Well, so far, no questions coming in. You got anything you want to touch on, Aiden, before we get out of here?
No, nothing crazy. I'm still having fun. I'm prepping, kind of really honing in on my list for the Golden Ticket GT coming up early April. I really feel good about where I'm landing. It's about like 200-ish points that I'm still deciding on, but everything else is really set. Yeah, no, I'm good. It was a pleasure talking, Matt. How about you? Anything? Any last thoughts?
Yeah, I got like event the next 3 weekends in a row. One of them might be a GT. We might skip an RTT and go to a GT. Me and David were debating that. But after that, so I'm gonna run Canis through those, and then I'm going to Thailand for a couple weeks. And when I get back, I'm probably gonna drop the Canis experiment and go back to more just pure Wolf Champions of Rust. Play around with some of the stuff that Mark talked about that you've been doing. Start maybe playing around with some Stern Guard, stuff like that, just to see how some of that plays into Champions of Rust. Now that I've kind of seen Canis's ability, like you can win, it can be really, really good lists, but at 450 points, there's only so much you can change around him and still be effective. Like, I don't want to drop the Thunderwolves or any of that, so I think I got to end up dropping Canis and start playing around with some other stuff to just keep it interesting. If I keep playing the same list and only changing 1 or 2 units, I'm really not bringing too much new info to everybody. So that's part of this channel is just, even if I really, really like a list, try some new stuff just to get some more info out there for everybody.
Yeah, trying out different stuff. Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you guys for watching. We should be back next Tuesday to do another Wolf Council, and we'll see you then.
Thanks, everyone.